So I'm in my garage because I wanted to have some privacy. And I'm recording this instead of going live. Like, I know we have live this, live that, but I just didn't want any distractions. But I wanted to be obedient with just being me from now on. Um, there are so many things going on in my house um, that I'm just trying to figure out how to make it through, and I don't know who this is going to be for. I don't know who can relate. Um, but yeah, so there's so much going on, so many new changes, so much, and I've spent 90% of my life living in DeKalb. Um, I want to say 90% because I was born in Chicago, but um, and then I moved again for a minute. But so 90%, I want to say 90% of my life has been lived here, and I'm 40 years old now, and um, it's hard when you've always felt isolated, when you've always felt like you didn't belong, or just, whew, bear with me because I'm trying to put into words everything that's swirling in my head and be obedient. Like, ugh. Um, and I have spent so many years treating myself the way others treated me. Like, you have, and to have little girls, to have girls, I can't say little girls because I have a 19-year old, um, and a 6-year old, but so you have to treat people, you have to teach people how to treat you. But if you don't know how to treat yourself, then how do you teach that? How do um and so for a lot of years I've treated myself the way I watched other people treat me, or the way I let people treat me. I settled. um I looked for love in all the wrong places. I slept with more people than I would care to admit. I I've done things that in the world's eyes and people's eyes devalues me, makes me unworthy, makes me um not friend material, not sister material, not um leadership material, not whatever you want to call it. um you know my father is a minister, so I grew up in the church, and I think that's where a lot of my hurt has come from. Family and church. um and when you know God for yourself, which I'm just learning, and that's crazy because, like I said, I grew up in the church, but at 40 years old, I'm just learning God for myself, having a personal relationship with God myself. And so when you truly start letting God do his work, he will show you some things. And but you have to be ready for those changes. And it's so crazy because I felt like I had to be obedient and record this because of um the sermon today at church was like a confirmation of things that God has been showing me and telling me. Get out of your own way. Stop thinking of yourself the way other people may think of you, or the way you may think other people think of you, because I don't let people in. I don't trust not nobody. um and that hurts me a lot, because I don't give people a chance. I don't give people a chance because I'm just tired of getting hurt. But at the same time, like, when you ask God to make changes, you have to be ready for that, because not only, I don't have to live my life in fear anymore. I don't have to live my life wondering who's going to hurt me, who's not for me, who's faking the funk, whatever, because God will show you. That's what say you got to be ready, because not only will he show you the devil in people, but he'll show you the devil in yourself. So you have to be ready to make those changes. And I think that's why I like people that I do let in and know me, like when I'm isolating myself, it's because I'm in a struggle. When I'm even, like, it's so funny because when I'm going through a personal lesson or a personal attack, or trying to get to that next level that God want me to be at, but there's a tug of war. I isolate myself. Like, we have this thing at church, when I was at New Hope and now at Logan Street, where you do the welcome, the part in church where you go around and you hug everybody, and I will disappear in a heartbeat, because I always am leery of who I let touch me, who I touch, what spirits I let around me, and so I'll disappear when I'm going through a struggle, or a growth spurt, or whatever you want to call. Like, I will isolate myself, because when I hug you, when I smile at you, when I talk to you, it's genuine. I don't ever want to lay hands on somebody in a hug or a touch and they feel like a weirdness, or a phoniness, or oh, she really didn't want to touch me but she just going with the motions type thing. You can hurt somebody worse than you think doing that. So I don't find it a bad thing that I do, because if I'm feeling a certain way, I don't want that to rub off on somebody, and so I'll disappear. You won't see me for the little welcome hug thing, because I just don't want to do that. Um, but I'm in there's a struggle going on in me. Um, God is trying to show me who He created. Um, and that's hard when you have spent your life being hurt and hurting yourself. Um, and it's so funny because I always feel like, I have enemies, 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 people who don't like me, or people who trying to, um, and the crazy thing about it is, I don't think anybody can ever say Selena hurt me, or Selena did this or that to me. Selena constantly hurts Selena. Um, I've been a cutter. I've been raped, molested, and the way I dealt with that for a lot of years was I would cut myself, um, or I would eat. Ate so much that I weighed 377 pounds before I had weight loss surgery, and I carry everybody else's weight and everybody else's problems, um, on top of my own, and so it gets heavy. Everything gets heavy. I've spent maybe a year now not really in the best relationship with my parents. Um, and I couldn't really figure out, like, why I was feeling the way I was feeling with my mother. And I finally got a revelation today, actually. Well, a little bit over the year that I've been praying and asking, like, God, why do I feel this way? Or, and you know I have a 21-year-old who moved out when he was 16. I have a 19-year-old who's getting ready to move out shortly with her guy. Um, And it's so crazy because I never planned for none of that. Now, what mother has children and you don't see that end date? You know what I mean? Like, oh, they're going off to college or they're. I didn't have none of that in my head. My baby's going to always be with me. So I didn't handle, emotionally, I have not handled any of it well. I haven't handled any of it well. Um, because I have spent so many years being a mother and now 10 years being a wife. And so that's all I know is being a wife and a mother. Who is Selena? I wrote a book, and the book is my first book is called Who Am I? And I'm still at 40 trying to figure out who I am. Other than a mother, other than a wife. And it's hard because I've watched my mother be be something for everybody in her household. And I'm pretty sure she would disagree because I think I've tried to have this conversation with her. And I don't know, but I'm pretty sure she would disagree because I feel like she's in the same boat but just don't know it. Because there's no way that a person can be angry all the time for no reason. There's a reason. There's a reason why people isolate and they're depressed and they're angry. And sometimes we spend so much time just looking at the surface. Oh, she angry. She stuck up. She a bitch. Why she acting like that? When it don't have nothing to do with anybody, probably just some internal struggle or something that person is going through. It's so funny because I used to say, man, I wish that there was a billion me's because then because I know how I love people. I know how I want to treat people. I know how I value people. I know how I always try to lift, especially women. If I see that you got a business, if I see, that you struggling with something, I'm always trying to get a woman to see their beauty and not the physical, or I mean, not the outside beauty, but your beauty. What makes you you, what makes you laugh, what makes you cry, what makes you weak, what makes you strong. All of that's beautiful. It took me to destroy myself. Having weight loss surgery, having a tummy tuck, having my hips broke, having my ribs broke, to realize that if I would have loved myself in the beginning, I wouldn't have had to go through all of that stuff, excuse me, that I went through trying to be something that the world thinks I should be. So I don't know who this is for. One of the things that, and this is like over and over and over again, young lady at church, I think her first name is Danielle. She spoke, and I think the topic of her sermon was get over yourself. And then today again, Reverend Hudson said, get over yourself. And really, I think that's the boat that I'm in right now, trying to get over myself, trying to get over the things that I've told myself, the things that I talk to myself about on a daily basis. Like, you really have to be intentional with what you let go in here and what you let go in here. And here, talk to yourself positively. It may seem crazy and funny or like really, but when you get up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror or whatever, I don't care with the bed head and the crust in your eyes and the morning breath. I don't care. Say I love you. You're beautiful, or you're handsome, whoever it is. Talk positive to yourself, because soon as you leave your four walls, trust and believe the world is going to try to knock you down. The world is going to try to destroy you. And so you don't need to help that. You don't need to help the world destroy you. So at 40 years old, trying to teach myself the good things about me, and that it's okay that there's bad things there. It's okay that um sorry y'all, I'm tweaking with my lights in the car. Um but because a lot of time, and that's one of the reasons too why I didn't go live. Um because one of the things that I'm trying to stop myself from doing, there's a lady that she's not my favorite person, but she did say something to me one day that has stuck with me. She said, "Stop apologizing. Stop giving these disclaimers before you speak. Stop apologizing for yourself. Just be who you are." And for that, I think she will forever like have a place in my mind and in my heart, because I believe that I am an awesome person to know, to be around, um, to love, to be loved by. Because when I love hard. If I love you, um, a part of me will always love you. Um, and so I didn't do the live thing because I'm still teaching myself how to just be Selena unapologetically. Um, and sometimes stuff that I want to say or am gonna say until God smooths out the rough edges ain't gonna be Christian like. But I'm tired of holding stuff in. I'm tired of, because it's killing my spirit. It's killing me. Being angry is heavy. Being bitter is heavy. Being stifled is heavy. And I believe that I have a lot to say, and a lot of people that God want me to help. He hasn't made it clear yet where that's going to go, how it's going to go. But I'm tired of not being obedient because worrying about, and let me clarify, because my generation, we were always taught, you are a reflection of me. Like when our parents will get us dressed in the morning or whatever, don't act this way when you get here or that, because you're a reflection of me. And I've carried that for 40 years. So even though I'm a 40-year-old grown woman, I always think about what I'm going to say. Even though me and my parents right now don't have the best relationship, but I always think about what I'm going to say, because I'm a reflection of Larry Frederick Pringle Sr. and Alice Marie Pringle. I'm a reflection of them. So I always think before I speak. But I need my mom and daddy to know that I always have that in the front of my mind. But Selena Morris is coming into her own at 40 years old. And so some things gonna be said that people don't like. I might not, God has blessed me. And sometimes I look at him and I wonder why, God has blessed me with a husband that loves every bit of me. And when I say every bit of me, he loved the devil in me. He loved the God in me. He loved everything about me. And me, him. Like, I love him. And I know the man that God gave me. I know the potential he has. God has shown me some things that he's going to do. And so sometimes I get mad when people want to give him little nuggets. Little nuggets. You can have this. I want you, we may not have the degrees that other people have. We might not be in sororities or fraternities and this and that. We're not be in this clique and that clique. But it's really, for me, I can't speak for my husband, but it's a smack in the face when you sit around and you watch stuff. You watch stuff, but you really feel like you can't say anything because you're not the typical Christian. You're that bench warmer that all the ministers talk about. You ain't a Christian if you a bench warmer. You're not a Christian if you're not running around doing every auxiliary and every this and every that. Then I'm not a Christian. Because I'm there to get fed. And when God leads me and tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm not finna get in the middle of any auxiliary or organization or do something that God didn't tell me to do just because I want a title or just because I want to be a part of a clique. No, not going to do that. But like I have an auntie that has a calling. Taught Sunday school my entire life. Got a calling on her life. Announced her calling, I think. But because a men. Yeah, you may have a church, but because a man told you no, it's not your time. Then you don't minister. You don't, and that's crazy for me, because to me that's how you lose members. That's how your church doesn't grow, because you have these people that have these gifts, that have something to teach, that have life experiences. I may not have a degree. My husband may not have a degree, but do understand the things we've been through, the people we could help. But because you don't have those things, you're devalued. You're not looked at the way other people are looked at. And it's sad. And so you have fractured churches. You have fractured people. You have members that only show up on Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter because, man, I'm more loved in the streets. I'm more understood in the streets than I am in church. And I thought church, confirmation again today, Reverend Hudson said church is right here, not the building. But so I'm learning to get over myself. So I don't know what the topic or what the title of this talk was, or this recording was. This is just me talking. This is just me getting some stuff off of my chest. Women, we do a lot. We go through a lot. We take on a lot of people's problems and you know, and it's tiresome. Like, you get tired. You don't know what to do. Sometimes I don't know what to do. And I get mad because, it seems like it's always something. But one thing that I do know that God is teaching me, everybody have a season. And I believe in that season, when God says it's your time for the blessings or the things that you've been praying about, or for him to change your life, or to change something in your life, that will happen. But I also believe that there's a place also where those seasons take place. I think I talked to an associate of mine, and they disagreed. And then that's another reason sometimes too why disobedience happens, because you'll have other people that you think is more godly than you or know the Bible more than you, say things to you, and so then you'll say, maybe I shouldn't say this, or but I'm so done with that. I'm so done with that, because I know the God I serve, and I know what he tells me, and I know how I feel, and so I know my season, the Morris family season, is in preparation right now. I know our time is coming, and our season isn't here. That's why my business don't do good, because I ain't did nothing to nobody. Like I said, Selena hurts Selena. Selena used to cut herself. Selena hurts herself, isolates herself. So for somebody, for me to have a business and it not do good, because I don't think I'm meant to be here in DeKalb. I don't think my business is meant to be here in DeKalb, because I'm raw at the nails.